Gang, the coronavirus is sweeping the nation, it's planted its roots, and most scientists are saying it's not going anywhere for a while. Those nasal swab tests are hard to get and they're very expensive. Well, our friends at ProResults are doing rapid COVID-19 antibody testing to let you know if you have had the virus. They take cash or credit, no insurance needed, no doctor appointment required, and you get the results in 15 minutes. Gang, I've taken the test 2 times. It's painless, it's quick, it's easy. And How Did I Get Here is partnered with ProResults, offering you 15% off COVID-19 antibody testing. Just go to ProResultsAustin.com/HDIGH. That's ProResultsAustin.com/HDIGH for 15% off COVID-19 antibody tests. Go get your tests. Let's get down. Attention Austin guitarists, are you in need of setup or repair on your axe? Well, I have the guy for you. That's Jason Swedberg over at J. Scott Lutherie, and you can find him at J. Scott Lutherie on Facebook. Gang, I've been taking my guitars to Jason for over 20 years, and not only does he do the best job, he has the best prices and the fastest service in town. That's J. Scott Lutherie. Find him at J. Scott Lutherie on Facebook or jason.swedberg on Gmail. Remember, gang, whether it's electric, acoustic, or bass, Jason Swedberg is your guy. Find him at J. Scott Lutherie on Facebook. Get your guitars fixed, and let's get down.
And you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here?
It's time for How Did I Get Here? And now here is your host,
All right, hello, I'm Johnny. I'm your host. Welcome to the show. I hope you guys are doing all right out there. I hope you're healthy. I hope you're safe. I hope you're sane. It's a pretty insane world right now. Things are going nuts, and it doesn't seem to be getting better. That's the part that gets a little freaky. Like, you're like, all right, well, this has been bad. Maybe it's starting to get a little better. And then they're like, hey, gang, guess what? It's getting a little worse. Like, oh, okay. All right, I can take a little worse, maybe. But maybe this cloud has a silver lining. Keep on going over the cloud. No silver lining, just cloud. It's just cloud. Well, look, man, we're all trying to make the best of it as best we can. Gang, this show is coming out today, Thursday, July 30th. And tonight I will be performing my last weekly Thursday night show on my Facebook page. My live stream where I sit in my studio and play tunes on my guitar and piano, sing them to you guys for about an hour or so. You can check it out at Johnny Gowdy Music on Facebook. That's Johnny Gowdy Music on Facebook. The show starts at 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time. So come on out, check it out. I've got a disco light, I've got tunes, I've got a guitar, I've got a piano, and I like to have a good time. I do. I like to have a good time. Actually, at Skyrocket, the band I'm in, we did our first live stream last night on Stage It on Tuesday night. It was a great time. A lot of people came out, showed up, paid the admission. We sat in our drummer's living room. He switched out a mic right before we started. And then there was a crackle. So there was like a weird thing for like the first song and then a minute getting it together. But then we got our groove on, man. We even did an encore. You can get encores on Stage It. Anyway, man, we had a good time. It's fun to play with Skyrocket. And it's fun to play with people. Not really played with people very much. I played with them a couple of times throughout this thing. We've rehearsed a couple of times for a couple of live stream things that we've done. And we played 2 live streams, one private one and one public one. I'm ready to play with the band, dude. I had never gone a month. I haven't gone a month without a gig since like 1990. So for 30 years, I've been playing multiple shows a week, mostly. Mostly a number of shows a week, at least one show a week. Maybe I have a week off every now and then. Maybe 2 weeks off, the occasional 2 weeks off of no gigs. But usually when Skyrocket has time off, I book my own gigs. Anyway, what I'm basically trying to tell you is if you're a musician out there and you miss playing gigs, I'm with you, man. I feel it. The fans feel it. This is a town, Austin's a town where people go out and see music all the time. They have their haunts, the places they hang out. I've got my places I hang out. I hang out at like Continental Club and Sea Boys, at the Continental Club Gallery, Hotel Vegas. I go see shows at different places. I love going to 310 and seeing shows. I go to 1-to-1, see my friends that work there and hang out, watch my friends play. I miss all that shit. Don't you guys miss that? Well, there's a guy I've been seeing for years since I moved back here in 1991. Amazing dude. Very cool dude named Tommy Mack. He's my guest on the show today. Very cool dude, Tommy Mack. He's got a brand new EP out. It's called Tres Rolas. And you can find it at TommyATX.com or at TommyPlanetRecords.com. The record is on Tommy Planets. You might remember Tommy was on a few years ago. And he was talking about a record he had just put out with his band, Tommy Mack and the Lifters. But this is Tommy Mack solo. And Tommy is taking his stuff in a different direction. Like, there's some stuff on here that if you do know Tommy Mack's music, you're going to be like, whoa, listen to that acoustic ballad. Beautiful. Guy's doing a great job. He's amazing. We always have a great time talking. He's an old friend. He's I guess now we're like the old, we used to be the young guys on the scene, but now we're the older guys on the scene. So I love Tommy Mack. I love talking to him, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy our conversation. So please, without further ado, please enjoy me and Tommy Mack chatting it up here on How Did I Get Here? Let's get down.
Today I'm hiding.
Is that a Bryan Adams song?
Yeah.
That's a good Bryan
Everything
Adams
I
song.
do.
Dude, how are you holding up in the quarantine? I mean, I've watched you jamming on some of your videos on Instagram. That's been fun. But how are you holding up? What's going on?
I'm holding up. I'm doing pretty well. It's not that much different from my my actual day-to-day, except there's a chain on me. There's a leash.
Right.
I've really backed away from, my rigid schedule of nightlife activities over the past few years. Well, I graduated. I got to expert level and I exhausted everything. I got all the power cells and all the hidden secret rooms, and I made it. I was a legend. I was a legend of Zelda. So this is it's easier for me in the aspect of living my day-to-day life, but my heart is broken because all my friends who are musicians and who work in the service industry and around the service industry and are so dependent on the entertainment industry for their income, and they've been galoolied, by this whole thing. They got taken out right at the knees, and it's not like, okay, it's a month or it's 2 months. It's really looking like
the end of the year, really.
Yeah, if we're lucky. It's like we're really going to have to just start rewriting, rethinking, everything, because we're back to chapter 1 on the whole thing. And this is the one pandemic, is another coming, is another episode that we can't handle coming. Something that unforeseen. This is the most unforeseen thing that's ever happened. We've seen clubs close. Okay, that club closed, so we got to go to another club. Our musical trend has, scooted you out, and another set of musicians and type of music has become popular. Okay, people have, circumvented that or joined it or however that works. But this is a tidal wave, a complete tsunami that has
Yeah.
just eradicated everybody and everything from the top to the bottom completely. I mean, when Taylor Swift can't tour and somebody like me can't tour,
Right. Exactly.
and that just takes everybody out of the scene. And mortgages still got to be paid, rent's got to be paid, food has to be bought, children have to be fed. The list is endless. And it reverberates to families. It's one of the most terrible things, if not the most terrible thing I've in my life. It's the most terrible thing I've ever seen happen in this industry.
Yeah.
And that's where my heart was completely ripped out. I know so many people that are completely shifting gears. Musicians that are now truck drivers, musicians that are now just farming, and crew guys that have just dropped it. Are they going to be able to turn around and say, okay, now we're back? But you don't know if the crowd is going to come. You don't know.
Right. Yeah. Well, welcome to Tommy and Johnny's Good Time Fun Hour.
Well, it was a question and I answered it.
No, I'm just joking, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's I've spoken to a lot of people, and there's actual upsides to it. A lot of people are really reconnecting with loved ones and reconnecting with life outside of the hectic world of music that just kind of overwhelms and consumes you, and you forget about what it's like to live a life.
Right.
And this has kind of actually thrown you, actually really thrown you into that. Well, okay, you're going to stay at your home. You're going to cultivate your home. You're going to cultivate everything around you in your home, your family, your friends, friends at a distance, and your pets, your house plants, your cooking, eating at home. It's kind of like really going back to the basics. And I know a lot of people that are just really connected with their families, children, and everything. And they really have kind of started to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Started to enjoy the fact that, hey, look, if I wasn't forced to do this, I wouldn't do it. I would be playing some stinking club somewhere, for a crummy amount of dollars, riding in a van, risking my life, driving from point A to point B again and again and again, not selling enough, living off T-shirt sales, and my children would be growing up without me. And that's a story that's been in the entertainment business as long as the business has been around.
Yep.
And this is kind of like really, it's an earthy reconnection, and I've heard that side as well, and I can understand it. So this is, we're living in something that, if there are history books ever written, we've got a big chunk of real history. We lived in the same time as the Beatles and Led Zeppelin and the Rolling Stones and the pandemic.
Yeah, that's pretty insane.
Yeah.
It's very insane.
It was wild.
Well, hey, man, before we go too far into this and can't pull out, dude, your EP, Tres Rolas is great.
Oh, thanks, man.
Great
Thanks.
job, man. Tell me about it, man. Tell me about making that. And this is the non-Lifters album. This is just straight up Tommy Mack.
Yeah, Lifters disbanded. I just walked away from the Lifters in about 2012, to tell you the truth. The reason it really hasn't sunk in with a lot of people is because I'm that guy who records an album and keeps selling it.
Yeah.
I'll sell an album for 20 years because I don't like sitting on inventory. And I wrote it, and I'm proud of the songs I wrote. I'm not one of those guys who can write a song and just let it drift off into outer space. I'm like, hey, I'm proud of that thing. I did all right.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna push it, and maybe it'll find an audience. Which, strangely enough, I just got a statement from BMI that I received a ton of streaming plays from somewhere. I couldn't decipher it. It just had all this numbers and stats and all this stuff on there for one song I thought would never get any play off of my last Lifters album, which was another Rolas album, Rolas para Gringos. And it got something that was like 30,000 here and 26,000 there, 8 over there, 16 there, whatever. And I got a check for $4.11. Hey, welcome to the music business. But at the same time, I was like, hey, they kind of validated my, I'm still selling that thing. And I released that in 2011. And never in my wildest dreams would have thought that song, because I never pushed it. I didn't do a thing with that song. I never even really brought it up. Would have got spins. And I just went over that paperwork like with a fine-tooth comb trying to find out where, because I wanted to start selling T-shirts there. I was like, is that Tongo or where's that? Was it South Africa somewhere? Or where are they spinning that? I want to just send some albums down there. I'm heading over there and gonna have a ticker tape parade for myself. But this album, Tres Rolas, you saw the.
Yep.
This is just. I took a break. It was right in the around 2012. I was playing the Continental Club, and I noticed it was a great crowd. Everything was great. I love playing the Continental more than anything in the world. But the crowd was all tourists, and it was really strange. And I just really felt it was an empty feeling, even though there was a packed house and I loved playing there. It was just an empty feeling to be playing to tourists who just really didn't care who I was or the band was or anything. Could be anybody to them. And so I kind of walked away from the whole thing. I've been pushing that rock up the hill, the Sisyphus thing, for 12 years through lineup changes, death, drug addiction, you name it, man. I mean, it's a book in itself. So I walked away, and I started a Ramones cover band. I was in a Waylon Jennings cover band. This and that. So with this, I was just writing songs, and I decided to put them together, and they were just really in a bag. It was kind of like I had a bag of Legos. And went into the studio over at Space with Tim Guerin, I've known for 30 years. Yeah, he's an old buddy of mine.
He's a good dude,
and
man.
He's the best. And I just started recording over there, but I didn't have anything put together. It wasn't like I had sat in a room with a band and rehashed, said, okay, we're all right. Go.
Right, the
go,
typical way we grew up making records, which is where you pick out the songs, you go practice them until you're blue in the face, and then you go record them as fast as you can because you don't have any money.
Yeah, because you're broke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You spend all your money rehearsing and getting there and getting it all together, and you go, okay, we're gonna do it. But me, I went in there and it was maniacal because I would have ideas while we're doing it. I would have ideas in my sleep. I'd wake up, grab my guitar, blah, blah, go into the studio the next day and say, guess what, buddy? He'd be like, oh my God, what? That part? Man, I'm going to put another guitar on it, or I'm going to tune down, or I'm going to change the lyrics, or, it was something just crazy like that. And that one song I have on here, Say Who You Love.
Yeah.
It's like so many things. Many times I changed it. So many things I've done with it. And that was released even before I even had an idea for this this little EP. I even shot a video for it.
Yeah.
And I've got alternate tuning. I got 4 different guitars, played keyboards on it. It goes from being, it's like Queens of the Stone Age to Led Zeppelin to, I mean, it's the weirdest thing I've ever put together, but I just did
Even
it.
has
to
like
get
a
the
little
riff out of my
outro and
head.
stuff.
Yeah, acoustic outro, which was I put on at the very end. He didn't know it was coming. Tim was sitting there like, okay, and I was like, no, I got an idea. Like, oh. I mean, that guy face palmed so many times. Like, okay.
He's really. I remember him. I guess I met him whenever the era of Music Lab. And
Right.
then, like, I knew he had the studio here at Space. And then all of a sudden, like, when I started this podcast was when people would come in and I'd be like, oh, your record sounds fucking great. Where'd you do it? I did it with Tim Guerin. You're like, shit, man, this guy's, like, quietly, like, over there just making amazing records.
He's a secret weapon. He does so many people.
Yeah.
His time is really filled up. All the time is filled up. I mean, I think I sneak in just because we've been buddies for 30 years. The first time he used to work at the back room as an assistant sound man
Oh, really?
when I was stage managing the back room. So I was kind of not directly his boss, but kind of his boss, but sort of like, I was the guy yelling and pointing and stuff. And Tim was the guy just going, that guy's a jerk, and doing his sound thing. Well, we did a bunch of shows, the Pantera shows and all the whatever the stuff that was going on there in the early 90s. And he did my last demo with my band Wasted Faith on a phone call, which is really funny. I got a phone call in the morning from a studio on 6th Street across 6th Street from Waterloo Records. And this guy said, hey, you won 11 free hours of studio time. I was like, who is this? And he says, 11 free hours of studio time for you, Young Thunder, Wasted Faith, whichever way I was going. I was going under Wasted Faith at the time. And I was like, 11 hours, huh? And I went down, looked at the place, and it was fantastic, man. I mean, it had everything, tons of outboard gear, big old Neve console, everything. And I was just like, okay. So I called the guys up. We went in there, and we recorded everything in 11 hours. And I called Tim to come help us get a drum sound. And he just walked off the bus with Screw. And that was a tour where everybody slept. There was like 20 guys on the bus, and people were sleeping on the floor, and that kind of tour, And he was dog tired, and he came in and helped us get a drum sound. And but we recorded everything in 11 hours. And what the whole thing was a ruse, because we were popular, was a ruse to get us in there for 11 hours. And that would just, that would be the drum tracks.
Right. You'd have to buy more.
And
Yeah.
You'd have to buy more.
Sure.
But
sure.
little did he know, he was getting just these wild, like Pantera type guys who were just hungover and wanted more beer and just crazy guys, and recorded our tunes in 11 hours, everything. And Tim helped us there. And Tim's helped. He did that other album I was talking about here, Rolas para Gringos.
Okay.
This one. And he did that over there at Music Lab, which we were speaking about. And he's just number one, man. I couldn't have done this album without him. Also, the second song that I really would like to talk about is Silver Dreams.
Yeah, what a gorgeous tune, man.
That is one of the strangest things I've ever done.
Can I tell you, I've
ahead.
never heard you do a tune like that. Like when I first started listening to it, I was like, okay, when's the thing gonna kick in? And then I was like, shit, man, I actually went back and listened to it again. I was like, fuck, man, you kind of mastered that Stonesy fucking ballad thing with that song. Great job.
Right on. I appreciate that. Thanks, Johnny. coming from you, that's a great compliment. I wrote that thing. Everything just goes along with my whole philosophy on life in general in the past 5+ years. Is just go with it. Go with everything. Be relaxed. Very, very Buddhist kind of mentality. And I was thinking, I need to write something with a capo. And I just saw a picture of somebody with a capo and where it was on their guitar. I'd never written with a capo in my life. And the only reason I had a capo was I'd picked one up off the stage back when I worked at the back room. It was just laying there. Somebody forgot it. I was like, hey, there's one of those things. And I just put it on where I saw the picture. The guy had it. I was like, I'll put it here on the the 4th fret or whatever. And the first chords I strum are the chords of the song. I mean, I wrote the song immediately. Every piece of it right there. And I changed nothing, zero. Just bam, I wrote it. And it was going to be called Aren't You a Diamond? And here's another strange part. The reason I said that is because I thought I heard Dua Lipa say, Aren't you a diamond?
Oh, right.
Because I listen to a lot of pop because I love production.
Yeah.
And production inspires me. When I hear pop songs and the just heavy production that they put on there and the ingenious ways they intertwine and weave, just everything together just really blows me away. It's not just straightforward bash, bash, bash. It's bang, boom, you hear
right.
all this weird stuff, right? Kind of like the Billie Eilish stuff even. And so I started playing it, and Aren't You a Diamond? And I kind of wrote lyrics for it, and I wrote all the lyrics really, and I was like, okay, what do I do with this? It's like, okay, I'm going to record it like this. And I went over to Tim, and I just sat there and I recorded it. And we had to do 2 tracks because, if I just do it completely just as one track, if I mess up the guitar or if I mess up the vocal, I have to do the whole thing over. So you have to do two tracks.
Right.
So good guitar and good vocal, you mess up one, you know what I mean? You don't have to go over, and you just lessen your chances of screwing up. And I couldn't say diamond. I couldn't sing diamond. For the life of me, it just came out terrible. It was one of those words, as a singer, there's just those words you just can't sing. To some other people are like, what in the world are you talking about? You can't sing that? Diamond? I was like, diamond, whatever. It was terrible. It was terrible. And Tim just kept shaking his head, and I was shaking my head. I was like, God, man, I just can't sing that. And he goes, what are we going to do, man? Just keep trying this. We've had about 5 takes. And I said, I'm going to change it. He goes, what? I'm changing it. And so he goes, okay. So I just sat down and I just think tanked it for a second, came up with Silver Dreams.
That's great.
And I figured if I just chopped it in half and just kept it one syllable, Silver Dreams, Dreams, Silver.
Yeah.
Made it real basic, easy math. And then went back and I cut it. And when I was cutting it, this should have been a very telling thing, but I was kind of wringing my hands while I was singing it. I was up there singing it, and I was, and I was singing it, but I was hitting all the notes, and everything was coming out great. I took it home and I listened to it, and it was kind of like David Coverdale or somebody was singing this thing, and we were both happy with it. We were leaving. We were like, oh, wow, you really sang it, well, vocals were all, steady and in key and everything was good. But I listened to about the second run through to the third run through. I was like, I can't hear this anymore. This is so unnatural. It doesn't sound like I'm singing it with the guitar.
Right.
And this song needs to sound like a guy is singing it with a guitar, and it needs to have a little bit of humanity. It doesn't have humanity. It doesn't sound like you're in a border town listening to some guy strum a guitar.
Yeah.
it just sounds like, there's too much production here, and it really does sound like, yeah, I'm David Coverdale, this is Glenn Hughes, and we're going to sing this song, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
here's an accordion,
Yeah.
and I hadn't even thought of the accordion yet. And so, all right. So I called Tim up, and another facepalm moment for Tim. I said, scrap it. Scrap the vocals. I said, erase them. I don't want to hear them. I'm not listening to them again. And he's like, wait a minute, what? And so I went back. And and I just did a quick run through, kind of right in front of him. I said, look, this is the way it's going to go. And I just real quick, and he said, well, yeah, okay, well, it's your gig. You're running the thing. Yeah, I see it. And Tim always has a great way of kind of finding the right words for it. He goes, oh, so you're going to bring it back to the porch, huh?
Hell yeah. Yeah.
And I was, and that calmed me right into it. I was like, that is exactly what I needed to hear, bro. And so I went up and I sang it first, one run through. And there's imperfections in it. And there's a couple of things that if I was actually going to record this for a big record company to be, blah, 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 everything was good, I might have changed a couple of things. I might have thought about it a little bit more, like, well, maybe I should come in a bar earlier on that part, you know what I mean, to make it a little more polished. But when I listened back to it, it sounded like I was sitting there playing the guitar.
Yeah.
And singing it, and there was a little bit of imperfections, and Silver Dreams actually made sense. When I was thinking about it, I was like, it's about second chances, because silver is what you get for second place. The second chance, your silver anniversary, second dreams, second, silver is second. And I was like, it's a second chance song. And if you listen to the lyrics and think about second chances, that's what they're talking about. And I said, oh, it's destiny, And at that point, I had told Tim that I'd called Joel, who I toured with back in the Ely days, back the Flatlanders and Joe Ely band.
Yeah. And
Joel is trepidatious about doing things a lot of times, because he does this for a living. He's a pro, and so he has to know that you're serious, and he has to know the material is quality, and everything has to line up for him. So he agreed. And when I went to the studio, I took my slide to play slide guitar and told Tim, said, I don't know if he's going to walk through that door. And if he doesn't walk through the door, I'm just going to play slide solo over this. And so me and Tim just kind of sitting there looking at each other, and who walks through the door? It's Joel. And
Joel Guzman.
And yes, of course, Joel Guzman of the Aztecs. And just one of the most bad motherfuckers you'll ever meet. And it's one of those moments, Johnny, where it's kind of rare in anybody's world when you know that you made the right decision. I mean, and you kind of get vindicated. You vindicate just for yourself. You're not doing it. You're not vindicating for anyone else.
Yeah. You
kind of take that breath of air and just go, wow, I did make the right decision.
Yeah.
I did. Wow, man. Wow. When he just opened that button box up, just in that first few seconds of that thing going, I was just like, oh, man, that is exactly what that song needed. Yeah. I mean, no other instrument, nothing else, nothing, zero is going to do what this is going to do. And I just felt so good. And Joel did that. I'm telling you, dude, one take. He only fiddled with one little part, but that took him like 2 seconds. He was like, do this. And they had Tim do some kind of wizardry on the computer to give him some kind of weird click track thing or something. And man, it just came out to be one of the best things I've ever done, because it's the most minimalistic, kind of like earthy, real thing.
Yeah.
and straight. And I'm not hiding behind an amp. I'm not hiding behind stuff that just done for 30 years. I've always been behind a loud amp and barking out and singing about girls' cars and whatever, rock and roll. And I've heard nothing but nice things from people. I've even heard people say they cried listening to that thing. And I was like, were you thinking about my career? They were like, no, man, that song made me cry. And these are like dudes. And I'm like, you cried? Man, you don't cry. He goes, I know, don't tell anyone. So I'm telling you, so it can be broadcast over your podcast. But I was very happy with that song, and I still am. It's one of the coolest things I've ever written, and it's just the simplicity. Sometimes something just works. Yep. And that's just how I'll go with that. It's just sometimes something just works, and I'm very happy. Happy with that.
You should
and
be.
Joel,
man, it's really
God
good.
Bless him. Yeah, God bless Joel. Yeah. And it just got picked up got put on the Austin Public Library streaming service.
Cool.
Electric Ladybird streaming service, where they feature Austin artists. Jackie Vinson's on there, a group of Phantasma, a bunch of artists. They put their CD on there, and it's going to be Silver Dreams is going to be on their playlist. I'm very happy.
Yeah, that's awesome. And the other song, Just So Blue, man, I like that song. It reminds me a little bit. It's got a bit of like a 70s glam vibe to it, with all the hand clapping and stuff.
Yeah, that started out as me just playing along to a blues cover, and then just mutating it completely into a shuffle. Yeah. And these are all written on acoustic. I just had a huge acoustic. I was just sitting around just on acoustic, just writing all this stuff, and I just started going, and that hand clapping stuff and the dropouts, and all that stuff was me thinking of that in the studio again. Another facepalm moment for Tim, where I said, drop the guitars out of there, drop that out of there, drop that out of there. And the best, and that's the first time I ever played slide. Oh, yeah. All that slide on there. Yeah. I've never played slide ever. Wow. Only with a lighter. I played it with a lighter, like live during a show or whatever. Yeah. I know the principles, but that's me after a bunch of Heinekens or something, Yeah. But that was like with a real slide and being recorded on acoustic. And I got Joe Miller from Reckless Kelly on bass, and he agreed to do it. And the coolest part of that, other than him doing it, was him texting me back saying, "Hey, do you want a regular bass, or should I bring a stand-up bass?" And I was like, "Oh," and I was texting him back and just about to hit send, where he's like, "Oh, just bring your P bass." And I was like, "Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I've never had a stand-up bass on any song I've ever done. Bring that stand-up bass." Yeah. And so he brought it, and he played that doghouse bass, or whatever you call it, on there, and just whipped, man. And all that stuff in the very beginning, I made up right there in the studio. All that, come on, Slapjack, you got it, Joe, and all that stuff. Yeah. And I made all that stuff up, and all the diner sounds and everything in the beginning of Silver Dreams. I put that on at the very last minute too. We spent almost as much time on the song looking for that. That thing through Tim's catalog of sounds, that they have in Pro Tools or whatever. But yeah, that song, I dig that song too. I can't say anything really bad about it. I just wish, I can't listen to my vocals ever again now. Why? I just can't stand hearing my voice sometimes, ever really. In 30 years of recording, I probably have 5 tracks that I could probably listen to about 2 or 3 more times. But the rest of them, I don't, other people, could listen to them. No problem. Me, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's just like an answering machine. You don't like hearing your own voice. Hi, I'm not here right now. It's like, oh
Yeah.
my God. Oh, Jesus, is that really me? And then imagine like, okay, and now I'm going to package this and sell it to the world.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds funny, and I bet it would sound funny for people. Like, obviously, I'm a singer, but I don't have the thing where I hate my voice. I have the thing where, like, if I record something and I'm real excited about the recording, when it starts, I'm super excited, and then when I start singing and I hear my voice, I'm like, oh man,
Right.
Why don't we get someone cool to sing on this?
I know.
But I mean,
know.
I don't hate my voice, but I don't think it's I don't know. I think I'm always like, it's me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say, and I'm such a fan of like singers, like great singers. I could recognize a powerful, great singer right away and just wish that I was playing with them, that they would do my song,
Yeah.
Like right now I'm in this heavy pop phase. Like I'm listening to, I mentioned her before, like Dua Lipa. I'm just been listening to her tracks, her new album, Future Nostalgia. And she's just got such a strong, great voice. It's just like, man,
Yeah.
how do I sell her a song? I mean, I'd love to have her sing my stuff, or
I have that thing, and it happened to me like 10 years ago. I got together with somebody who's a songwriter, and they were like, oh, let's write this pop song. And when I was doing it, I was like, I don't know if I've been doing this. You know what I mean? There's something to do with that stuff where I was like, you know what? I think I'll just write my own songs. And if people want to cover them, that's cool. But it's hard to be like, oh, Carly Rae Jepsen will like this song.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm a 51-year-old dude. Like, what do I know what people, like, what kids are saying to other kids right now? I don't even have kids.
Well,
you don't have kids, do you? No.
No. I don't know what people are saying, of course.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I mean, that I sidestep a whole bunch of issues with that excuse right there for sure. Hey, you know what? I'm the wrong guy to talk to about that.
Right. Do you have like TikTok or anything like that?
I just got rid of it. I got it about a month ago, and there is just so many horrible things on there, and they track you. Really, I mean, it's not conspiracy or anything.
Oh, right.
It's they show you a bunch of, on their news feed. It's just news feed, just continual, you just scroll it and this video. But anyone that you just happen to watch for, the minute, is logged that you are partial to. So you'll get more of that just because you looked at it.
Oh God!
And then I started getting all these weird ones and I was like, why am I getting this political stuff? Why am I getting these guys like, let me tell you something, buddy? These kind of ones. And I'm like, what in the heck is this? And the very last thing I saw in there that cemented it for me is I was waking up, I was going through my emails, and I looked at the TikTok because I had just uploaded all old guitar clips, and I just looked at the news feed, and the very first thing I saw was, like, if you're a driver in a car and you're looking out the front windshield, some guys driving and they hit a dog and just knocked this golden retriever, goes flying into the next lane, and it's kind of like laying there. And there's some kind of like weird laugh track of the thing going.
My God.
Going whoop, 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 or something like that. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? I looked at it. I was like, what in the flying fuck? Who puts this up? Why am I seeing this first thing in the fucking morning?
Yeah.
what kind of piece of shit is this? And so I just X'd it, man. I said, you know what? I've lived a long life.
Yeah.
And I just saw something right there that I never want to ever see ever.
Yeah.
And if I even knew who uploaded that, I would probably put them in a hard headlock.
Yeah.
You know, and I just zipped it right there. But I couldn't believe it. So, but it vindicated, because I was thinking about it already, because there was just all these just, you know, crazy political things and footage of, they don't show you this on CNN, and you know, it's
Oh
like,
yeah,
what the hell?
Jesus Christ.
And I am totally not into anything like that.
No.
You know, as a musician, a lifelong musician, like I said, I steer away. You know, it's just, I stay away from that kind of stuff as much as possible, and to have it just thrown in my face is an insult to everything I've ever done, and an insult to me, and it makes me just feel. I feel sorry and sad for the world, and sad for people who feed off of anger.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how you can wake up in anger and go to bed in anger, you know? And, you know, that's part of the problem. That's the biggest part of the problem, I think. And,
It's the culture of outrage.
Yeah. Man, all you need is love, man. Just like the Beatles said.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, all you need is love. Love it. Love. You know, and it's so simple. Even the roughest bikers and the toughest, you know, whoever's know this.
Yeah.
You know, people know this. All you need is just love and understanding, and it'll work out. You know? But if you're feeding that demon, that horrible thing. So anyway, back to the kids. TikTok, no,
Okay.
zero.
Let me ask you this real quick. How do you find new music? Like, what's your mode of new music? Are you on Spotify or something?
Yeah, I've got Spotify. I have a bunch of fans and friends on Instagram. I've been on Instagram since 2012, I think. And I've cultivated amassed a small following of international friends. I use it to find people internationally that might be interested in Austin, Texas culture and music. And you know,
that's a real thing for like people like our age know that, because we went through the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s where people like Calvin Russell, you know, would play gigs here, but they'd go over to like fucking Germany, France, and Spain and play like these sellout shows. I've noticed that a lot through this podcast, because I've never played the kind of music that is like Austin, Texas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't think I've ever been able to really capitalize on that aspect of it. But like through doing this podcast, there's like a great amount of European listeners on this show simply because of that sort of thing. I've had the Ray Wiley Hubbards, guys like you know what I mean?
Yeah. I remember going to Oslo and finding a bar that was called, I'm pretty sure it was called Austin Bar, the Texas Bar, or something like that. We went in there and there was pictures of Joe Ely. I was with Joe Ely. There was pictures of Joe Ely, and you know, me and Jesse Taylor and Joe Ely were in there, and there's pictures of everybody. You know, you name it. You know, just pictures of Jesse Dayton and stuff in there, and the guys walking around in cowboy boots. We ate at this place. We played at this place in Milan called the El Paso Club, and the guy fed us hamburgers in Milano, hamburgers, and we were bummed out, man, because we were like we're in Italy, and the guy's serving us hamburgers, and he's walking around in Wranglers and stuff, you know, and we're kind of like, oh man, okay, you know, and you know, all right, but yeah, there's this huge thing. And so with Instagram, you know, I mean, I've sold T-shirts to girls in Kazakhstan and in of course, England, Scotland. Back in the lifters days, we were huge in Luxembourg. I can't even pronounce most of the places. But I use that just to cultivate internationally. And then Facebook, I have barely 600 friends, and those are just really my friends that I know. And I barely do anything. That's just for my day to day. Like I was at HEB today, and and the watermelons were expensive or something. That's really all I really do on there. And here's a picture of me and my neighbors, or
you don't share your political outrage on there.
I don't have political outrage, man. I mean, it is what it is, and somebody else will do it tenfold.
Yeah,
what I mean?
Yeah.
Me barking about anything is just going to be bumming me out.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the one going to bed with the agenda, over that. And I don't need any more troubles than, whatever, it's going to bring me. I've got enough. My transmission just went out of my car, and now I'm going to start belly aching about inept leadership or whatever.
Yeah.
The obvious is the obvious.
What do you think's going to happen? I know that you were saying that you kind of burnt out and like playing that show and seeing all those tourists at the show and not like actual music fans, but like, are you thinking like when we come? What I'm going to keep on using the word when, but when we come out of this quarantine, do you think you'll get out and play some shows as Tommy Mack without the lifters?
Well, there never was really established lifters. It was always
right
guys, right? So yeah, it'll be me. Every band I'm ever in or ever try to start or whatever, everybody, no matter who's in it, everybody just turns to me and goes, okay, what are we doing? You write the songs, you book the gigs, you do this. Okay. So, will I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to, I'm sure I will. I know that I'm not gonna chase it as hard as I did when I was, in my 20s, 30s and early 40s. I'm not gonna just bang my head against the wall and accept, failure, as part of the journey as much.
Do you feel
anymore.
that? Do you feel that way? Like in some ways, you get marginalized a bit. I mean, obviously, like this is a different time. The landscape is different. You and I almost speak a different language from another era. You know what I mean?
I think no, because the people that are buying my shirts and the people and stuff that are into what I do, it seems there's a lot that are young, and if you look on Instagram at the guitar players who are coming up, which I follow a whole bunch of guitar players that are unknown. They're very young. These are teenagers into their early 20s, and they're really into classic rock, 80s rock, 90s rock. They're really into that stuff because the guitar is so prominent, of course.
Sure,
guitar, bass,
sure.
drums, everything is so prominent in that music, and they want to learn. So they're worshiping Slash, and they're worshiping Jimmy Page and Hendrix and everybody that's not unfamiliar to us.
Do new people still worship Eddie Van Halen?
Oh yeah, man. They love, of course. Yeah, Van Halen's never going away.
No.
And so I think that as long as you put on a show, it'll be fine. But we've got a problem. We're old. We've got a problem. Visually, it's not going to be as stimulating to watch us as it's going to be to watch 20-year-old us. You know what I mean? When we were, 21.
Yeah.
Bouncing around just without a care in the world, without a bill, driving the biggest clunker in the world and not caring.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? Eating SpaghettiOs every day and loving it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just, that was,
Well,
that's we're not going to beat that. But a good show, well executed songs, and an indifference to, you've always got to show indifference. You can't go up there and just go up there. Okay, it's got to be, everything. Don't guitar tech for yourself. Like, okay, I've got to have this. It's got to be exactly right. You get up there and just kind of, you just do your thing, and just kind of bend the rules and just, create your own landscape, and just kind of like give them something new to look at, something that could go wrong. They're looking at something that could go wrong. Don't give them something that couldn't go wrong. Nobody wants to see something that couldn't go wrong. They want to see something that could go
dangerous,
wrong.
man. Rock and roll is dangerous.
Yeah, they want to look at something like, hey, man, I don't know what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
But I heard the last gig, something happened,
Yeah.
And that's rock and roll. And rock and roll is rebel music. And, you got to be a rebel. You got to, you never know what the heck is going to happen. And it doesn't mean be a jerk. It just means go up there with some indifference, and don't pay attention to the clock, and don't act like you're something you're not. Just be you, and just have fun everywhere, all the time. Fun before you get on stage, fun on stage, fun off stage, fun going to the gig, fun leaving the gig, fun everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. So what do you do for like band interaction stuff? Like you're not a solo guy, you're a band guy. I mean, in your heart, you know what I mean? Like I do solo shit and stuff, but I have to because I'm too old to have like a band anymore, like a band. You know what I mean? Once you get past a certain age, no one wants to just be dedicated to one band. So, but I am in my soul a band guy.
Yeah, me too. Man, I think about when I started in Austin. I've been playing in bands since 1987 around here, and back then nobody cared. Nobody even thought. It wasn't even a thought to have another band. When you were in one band, that was it.
Yeah, I never.
You're in one band. You're in this band.
Yeah.
What band are you in? I'm in this band.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And everybody was focused in on that band. That's what you did. And then you had a partner or two in the band that, would always,
right.
All right, let's go flyer.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
All right, we got to work.
Yeah.
And if you weren't playing, you were rehearsing. If you weren't rehearsing, you were making flyers. If you weren't making flyers, you were designing a T-shirt. You were, it was always, it's consuming.
Out in the scene, being part of the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, hey man, we're playing at that club. I'm going to be there 4 days every single night before we even play.
Yeah.
Glad handing everybody in the room.
Yeah.
Like, hey man, hey man, that's my name. Yeah, man, I'll be here Friday, man. What are you up to? Oh, hey, how's it going? What you doing? Oh, is that your girlfriend? Hey, what's up? Hey, who's your friend? Hey, you know what I mean? You're making the moves, man. You just keep going. And what do? One of the biggest letdowns for me in the band scene, also was like every band member I've had has had at least one or two different bands.
Yeah.
And it's always bummed me out. And it's not like I'm a huge employer. It's not like they're working for, Daddy Warbucks over here and I'm paying them, $1,000 a show or anything, and they're paying their rent off me or anything. I can't, bring the hammer down or anything, It's just like, you gotta really mind your P's and Q's, and really be happy. Always just really happy that somebody's playing my songs. Anyway, it's just like, wow, I can't believe they're playing my songs. I wrote that one on my couch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You played a song you wrote on your couch, while you were watching, some dumb TV show or something, and you're playing it to room full of people who are clapping. You're kind of going, I can't believe that.
Yeah.
So I would love to have, a dedicated band that was dedicated to what I do and dedicated to what we do. I always try to say us, we, when discussion is around about the project.
Sure.
We,
Yeah.
and I always hate saying, well, that's my drummer.
Yeah.
I kick myself for it. And I always I'll tell the guys, I say, hey, if you catch me doing that, man, just give me a punch right there. Pop me, man, because I deserve it. The drummer, the guitar player, the singer, the, accordionist, the triangle player, whatever.
Right.
It would just really be nice, it would really be nice to just have a dedication to it. And I don't know how it's gonna play out in the future. I have hope.
Yeah.
John.
Yeah, man.
I have hope. And it's gonna be tough. You say you're 51. I just turned 57. And that's it's not a death sentence or anything.
No.
It's I'm in the best health. I just dropped 32 pounds. I'm in really great health and playing well, writing, releasing material constantly, 30 years of releasing material, BMI songwriter. I consider myself a success, not even marginal, barely a success, but still success.
Right. Yeah, man.
I'll take barely. I'll take in my mind a success in my own mind.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah, man.
Sure.
Well, so Tres Rolas is out. Are you said are you working on new stuff? Are you writing new stuff? Are you making Tim facepalm?
I do have new stuff. Tim went back. He was working at home for a little while. Then he went back to the studio.
Yeah, I saw him the other day.
And I talked to him, and he's really iffy on how he's going to proceed.
Yeah, everyone is, man.
Yeah, Tim is kind of in the high risk category.
Okay.
So he is very, very, very cautious, because there are people that are indifferent.
Yeah. And
he doesn't want to be the victim of indifference.
Right, of course.
And that it's not like you catch a cold, man. I mean, it's really, really not.
Yeah, it can be gnarly, man.
It can lifelong if you're lucky enough to have a life. And so I talked to him, and he's really, he's just playing it day by day right now. And I do have material written, because
cool,
this album right here was supposed to be at least 8 songs. I had 2 covers I wanted to do, and I have 2 written, and I was going to write a third, but the virus stopped everything.
Right.
And I had to make a decision whether or not I wanted to just shelve it and wait, or just throw it out immediately with 3 songs. And so I just went ahead and threw it out immediately. I mean, in these photographs, every bit of this thing was done last minute. I just told a buddy of mine, hey, meet me down at Indian Roller and take pictures of me with my camera, with my iPhone. Yeah. And that's what this is, with my iPhone with a wide angle lens on it.
Yeah, no problem.
Take pictures of me, and because I'll have it in my hands. You don't have to manipulate them or anything. You just take pictures of me, click, click, click. And I manipulated them. I used Photoshop and did all the printing on it and whatever. And that 3-ball on the cover is actually a 4-ball. But I didn't have the name of the album at the time.
Oh.
when I thought of the name of the album, I just got one of the better pictures, and I was thinking, I should call it Rolas something. Tres Rolas. I said, oh, but that's a 4-ball.
Oh, yeah. So you
Like,
switch
well,
it
I
to
just
3.
changed it to a 3. Yeah, I've been called on it by people who play pool. They're like, hey, yeah, that's that's a 4-ball. And I'm like, hey, shh, come on, man, don't blow it. And I did everything. I just did all this. Photoshopped it all together, just shipped it off to. I just uploaded it to CD Baby.
Oh, nice.
And they did everything else. That's really a great company. That's really 100% great company. I'll tell you right now. Except they closed their store. They don't have any hard copy for sale. I've still got all the hard copies.
You
in my
still
hands.
like what made you do a CD now?
I wanted to hand it out. I wanted to have something in my hand. It's everywhere. It's on Spotify, Apple, everywhere, all the platforms. But I just wanted to have something in my hand if I wanted to hand it over to somebody, because there's a lot of people, and like a radio, or if I wanted to get this to Raul Hernandez or somebody, or it's just like you never know. It's always good. And I got the minimal.
Yeah, I have to tell you, with my last EP that came out a couple of years ago, a publicist told me that very thing. So I literally called all those people and said, do I have to give you a CD? And they're like, yeah, we prefer a CD. And I was like, well, I don't have one, so you're not going to play it? And they're like, no, just send me a Dropbox. I'm like, all right, you don't need a CD, man. Like, unfortunately, right. I mean, I appreciate having something, and also the artwork is lost. You know what I mean? Like, artwork is now just, 1 inch by, it's even smaller if it's like on Spotify on your phone. So, but anyway, people can find you at TommyPlanetRecords.com. Is that the preferred website?
Yeah, that's my record label, which I've had for about 10 years. Or quickly to listen to this, and to you can listen to all the full tracks, no problem, gratis, free. TommyATX.com.
Yep.
TommyATX.com. Yeah, they can go there and listen to this whole thing, or they can listen to it at Electric Ladybird. I guess.
Oh yeah, Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify and Apple and Amazon. You can buy it on Amazon, and you can buy it. It's everywhere. Deezer, Pandora, you name it, and it's for sale on the Russian black market, just like all my stuff is.
Right on. Well, dude, it's been really good catching up with you. I'm glad you're doing well.
Yeah, man, it's great to hear your voice, man. It's great to see you, John.
Yeah, good to see you too, man.
Yeah, you're old buddy. I mean, I'm really impressed how you've kept up, and you just keep going, and you're
Thanks,
a treasure,
man.
My friend.
Thank you.
You're
You
a treasure.
too. Thank you. Likewise. My old friend Tommy Mack. Great having him back on the show. Check out his latest EP, Tres Rolas, available on Tommy Planet Records. Find him at TommyATX.com, or find him at TommyPlanetRecords.com. Great talking to him. Great tunes. 3 great tunes for you to jam to by my old pal Tommy Mack. And gang, check it out. When you're out there checking out TommyATX.com, don't forget that you can subscribe to this podcast wherever it is that you find podcasts, be it Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, Apple Podcast, Overcast. Anywhere they serve podcasts, they serve How Did I Get Here, including Google Podcasts and YouTube. All right? I want to thank Tommy again for doing the show. Let's hear the rest of his song, Say Who You Love. Do it up. Have a good day, whatever it is you're doing. Stay safe, stay healthy, and let's get down.
Let love find me. That is what she said to me. Closed eyes see me. See what it's meant to be. Let love find me. I'm the one you see. I'm lost inside.